about basic saving money. One thing I want to clear up, thank y'all all for every week I come on with, Megan, don't go far because I need you. Every week I come on to this podcast because the name of my podcast is Don't Tell Me You Can't Do It. And basically with that podcast is basically to tell people you change your mind, you change your direction. It's nothing you can't do. It's nothing. Now, some things, God has given all of us a gift. And by God giving us all a gift, turn around to me so you could get me on paper. God has given all of us a gift. And basically, like I say, thank you all for tuning in to another episode of Don't Tell Me You Can't Do It. I want to thank y'all all for tuning in, those that follow me week after week after week. I do not take it for granted. I'm so grateful to God that you sought it not to be robbery, to come out your busy walks of life and let me give you the stories. And basically all of these stories, all of these podcasts is uncut and unedited. This is real. This is real talk. And the reason I made it like that, because people need to hear real life stuff. People don't need to be with, it's made up, it's fiction, it's not. It's basically just straight off the top, basically from my real life stories. Today, anybody want to chime in and come on to this live, we want you to come in and chime in. You got any questions or somebody want to add in? I have Takivia Foster. She will be kind of like bringing in some questions because she teach finances at a local high school. She teach finances at a local high school. So she'll be kind of like asking some questions. So last week, we was basically talking about money. And I'm going to go, I love the Lord. I thank God every day. I never take for granted what God has done in my life, for my life, and how he surrounded my life. And people like to use the cliche. I call it a cliche. Money is the root to all evil. That's a bunch of bull. Ain't no such thing. Money is the root to all evil. Money is not the root to all evil. It's the love of it. And it's what people will do for the money. And that ain't the way God intended it to be. Y'all know certain things in life, God got it for all the good reasons, but certain things are turned for the right reason. I tell people love, sex, and money, it all plays a part. So when we talk about finances, I want to grip the heart. So usually week after week, I have a guest. We will resume our guest probably next week. We got a good speaker coming in next week. And we just talk about life goals. We get people that basically have had struggles. They either on their way to success or they already made it successful. But it's not a period to success because success is an ongoing process. I mean, when you reach one level, you reach another level. It's like ongoing in success because you want to continue to keep, how the young people say, I'm keep chasing that bag. So if I keep chasing that bag, it could be different eras, but it's all due to the same fact. We're going to talk about some money today. And as we grace this desk today, we got two forms of money that's sitting here. And basically, we got tangible money. We got tangible money, and basically the tangible money is here because I'm a hands-on person. I kind of like want you to see. We got this kind of money because plastic is money, okay? In the world I grew up in, the only thing mom and daddy them cared about is this. But as I grew older, this money is more important than this money. And I'm going to give you the difference on the finance. So last week I was talking about saving money because a lot of times when we're dealing with finances, we work on a job, whether you own your own business or you work for somebody or you hustle, no matter what your gift is or what they call your gift for gab or your gift to you want to flourish that God has given you, our ultimate goal is to make money. We need to make money to be able to pay our bills, make a living. Back in the biblical days, it was tokens and some other things. Now in today's society, God has blessed tangible money is to be able to take care of what we need. It take care of our mortgages, our cars. It buys our clothes. It sends our children to school. Basically, money is behind basically everything accept the salvation. And somebody paid for that, and that was Jesus. We just didn't pay for that. So I wanted to touch more on money because if you're not like me, I've made mistakes with money. I've made mistakes with credit. So basically what I was coming to the table to let a lot of people know, we as individuals, if you work, you need to learn how to save money. You need to know how to budget credit. Okay, as you look here, all these credit cards, I have a lot of them. All these are my credit cards. So I can speak from a natural standpoint and from a physical standpoint to tell you that both of these tie hand in hand. I just learned over the years that this is more important money than this is tangible money. I've learned that, but some of y'all may beg the difference. So what I was talking about last week was saving money. I feel like everybody, when you get paid, you need to pay your tithes, pay yourself, and pay your bills. Those are the three things that I feel like people ought to live by, but that's just my saying. The reason why I say pay God, because he gives you the help, strength, and life and the vision to make the money that you make. Wherever you want to sow in, that you sow in. It could be in the church. It could be out of the church. You don't always have to sow into a church facility. I mean, if you got a leadership, you should be sowing in that leadership. If you're not, tithes are paid in time, talent, and resources. So there's a lot of ways you could pay into tithe. When I say pay yourself, if you earn money every week, you should be able to pay yourself. And when I say pay yourself, save something. Save something. And then, of course, you need to pay your bill. So a lot of the questions I got the last week was, how can I save when I don't even make enough to pay my bill? So that either say one or two things. If you not making enough to pay your bills, you either living above your means and not underneath your means. And a lot of times, the reason why a lot of us, we going from paycheck to paycheck, or robbing Peter to pay Paul, because the money that we have been blessed with, we either didn't do the right thing with it, or we spending it for something else that we wasn't supposed to do, or we living above our means. So as y'all look at me today, I didn't always live like this. When I didn't have it, I didn't live like this. I didn't care what people thought of me. I didn't care what you felt. They could say, like the old saying, fake it till you make it, whatever. I did what I had to do, but I didn't care what nobody thought of me. I didn't go out and get all this, what you call rich things, when I knew I couldn't afford it. I had children, I'm married, and I had to put my priorities in order. So I think what a lot of people with finances, your priority is not in the right place. So I need my Facebook people. I need y'all to chime in, talk to me. Y'all got questions. We could even add y'all in on the line. But I think personally, speaking from my experience, my priorities wasn't in order. I wasn't living above my means, but my priorities wasn't in order. And then a lot of my priorities wasn't in order because I wasn't taught that. And so last week, my segment was on when we was coming up, as I'm in my 50s. Yeah, I'm all in a bag of chips though, but I'm in my 50s. So we wasn't taught, I'm gonna speak for myself, I was not taught to save money, look out for credit and all that, because y'all know mama them, big mama them, auntie them, I'm using Georgia terms, but they didn't really seriously talk about finances. They talked about survival. And that's what I said on my podcast last week. A lot of us are existing, but we're not living. What I mean by that, you just hear, you're not really living. When I call living, God blessing us with life at the street, you should be able to live and be happy, or live the American dream, or live to be able to make money, live to be able to, what you may be considered the finer things in life. So a lot of us, our priorities are not in order. So when I was coming up, I wasn't taught this by mama or daddy, or nobody taught me this. I learned this when I got older, and I failed in handling my money. And one of the things was, when you get paid and you broke, you should be able to know why you broke. You should know where your money went at. That's very important. And a lot of people, we broke and we don't know. And then if you broke, you should be able to walk in your house, or walk to your car, or walk to certain places and see why your money, you don't have no money. If I come home every day to a nice house, my water on, my lights on, got food on the table, everybody good, then and I ain't got nothing but $100 left, I know where my money went. But a lot of us, we don't know that because our priorities with finances is in the wrong order. And whether you know it or not, for businesses, a lot of people fail because they don't have priorities or they mismanage money while they fail financially. And some people get in credit card debt. Some people fail where they have to do bankruptcy. Some people business don't withstand because the money was not handled. So for me, I had basically Hard Knocks University, and the reason I call it Hard Knocks, because I was reading books. I went to college, got degrees, I did that, but it didn't teach me tangibly how to handle this until God gave it to me. I failed, and then I get back up and learn the importance of money and credit. So I was telling most of my followers last week, y'all chime in, y'all got any questions, y'all bring it. We could bring you in on the segment. I wanted to tell people about saving. A lot of times I've gotten this with me. Oh, Miss Davis, you could tell people how to save because you got money. That's a negative comment because I'm telling you, you got to start off small before you get big. A lot of times with saving, we want to start off big before we get small. You'll be surprised if you put away $25 a week, what that $25 could do in 2 or 3 months. But we want rush, rush, rush. We want instant stuff. Like Miss Falter said last night, we want instant gratification. I like instant gratification, but I like it to last. So I want long-term effect. In order for you to get long-term effect, you got to do it and wait for it to build up. So I said to a lot of people, save money, put away. And people say, I ain't made enough. But I'm going to tell you this. How many of us go to Starbucks every day? How many of us go to a fast food restaurant? How many of us go to happy hour? How many of us go out and buy a purse or clothes and all of that and don't? To me, if I go in the Louis store and I buy a pocketbook for $2,500 and I ain't got $2,500, something wrong with my priority. That's just me. I don't feel like I have to go get this bag for you to see me with a Louis, Gucci, or Chanel, and my bank account is on the negative. So we first, with anything with money and life, priorities have to be set in order. And then we have to ask ourselves, what goal are we looking to accomplish? So to start saving, you have to first tell yourself, I can do this. Don't tell me I can't do it. I can save. You got to change your mindset. You got to start changing your mindset. So the reason I say money and credit go hand in hand because when I was younger, all people was doing was making money, paying bills, paying bills. I had to become an adult, open up my first business, the funeral home, and I had to learn about credit. And how I learned about credit is being around a lot of banking people, rich banking people that did not use this. They didn't use this. They kept this. See, this supposed to go in the bank for you to save. So this how you teach people how to save. We using this just a little skit we doing. This Spliffy dough and Miss Foster money. Y'all please understand that. Okay, this money we got here, sometimes we have to sit down and tell our kids this money sitting here. So sometimes this is what I did to help me. I got money. You teach your children. Okay, mom and daddy got paid this week. I don't know what this is. This maybe could be like about $5,000. This is what I paid for rent. This is what I paid for mommy and daddy car. This is what I paid for light bill, car insurance, and all that. You take all these bills out, then you see what you got left. So say at the end of the month, this is all I got. I'm just using hypothetical. I could save with this. Because I ain't got to go eat Starbucks. I ain't got to go to Burger King. I ain't got to go to Benihana's. I ain't got to go nowhere. I can at least take this and save a month and use this for emergency fund. Or not even really use this because you should have a major credit card to save. So in saving this, it takes sacrifice. And what a lot of us don't have, no priorities and orders, and we don't have sacrifice, and we beat ourselves down. I can't do that. I can't save no money. I ain't making the money as it is. I'm just making a little bit of money. I don't care how much money you make. You hearing this under the sound of my voice. I don't care what you're making. If you rethink and rebudget yourself, you can put away $20, $25. And how you can do it, take away some of the luxuries that you don't need. I don't need to go to Starbucks every day. I don't need to go out for a drink. I don't need to go to a restaurant. That's your saving money. It takes sacrifice. Anything that's gained takes sacrifice. Where there's no sacrifice, there's no gain. So when you look at me, this was sacrifice for me. What I did, I challenged myself. I say every time I do a service and I pay myself, I'm going to put this away. And I made a goal to myself. And when I made that goal and I reached it, I clapped and I gave my own self a party. And that was really difficult for me. And when I started doing it, I started being excited about it. Oh, I saved this. Oh my God. I was so excited about saving money. And then when I saw every time I went to that account that money was building, I got excited. And guess what? I didn't start off with like $50. But then that $50 every 2 weeks became $100. The 100 became $200. Before I know it, I had $1,000. But I made a sacrifice, and I didn't touch that money. So a lot of times, like Ms. Foster made up a point, if people really want to say they'll get an account without a debit card, that could work for you. But I think you don't have a made-up mind like that, because a made-up mind gonna make you say, I'm not gonna touch that. You're gonna make up your mind. You're not going, it's like anything in life. I'm going to do this, and I'm not going to let nothing take me away from this. It got to be the only way I'm going to touch this money. Somebody got to be on a respirator. Somebody needs some medication. Mama them, brother them, sister them, they need some medication or their life depending on it. It won't be for luxuries. And that's what, this ain't going to take me to the mall. This ain't going to take me in the Gucci store. No, because guess what? All these designers, Louis, Gucci, Chanel, all that stuff that we like, that's gonna be here. Build your name up, build your bank account up, build everything you got, build it up. Because all that stuff that you want to buy, trust me, it's gonna be here. So my advice to people was save. And I'm telling you, because that's how I started. I started saving, I started challenging myself. First, I prayed and asked God to give me some strength to have a made up mind. See, if you change your mind, you change your direction. If you never change your mind, your direction will always be the same. And then you have to watch who you sit around and rub elbows with. If you around people all the time and they talk about how broke they is, that's negative energy. You need to get away from that. You need to be around positive people that gonna say, girl, you gonna do that? You gonna put 25, I'm gonna do that too. And y'all start like, you say that, you say, you gotta kind of get energy of other people. What I did when I needed to save money, I looked at millionaires. I wanted to become a millionaire. So I looked at them and I started watching what they do. And that's how I did it. So I always tell people, pay your 10%, pay your bills, and pay yourself. I always say that. And live in a position where you can do all of that. And if you're not in that position, that's because you're living above your means. You go out and buy a car, and your car, you paying this car note, and you paying more for the car note. You can't say, sometimes I rode in a Toyota Tercel. I had a Lexus Coupe. I drove in cars that I didn't care about the name. I cared about winning financially. So basically, like I say, I saved money. I opened up a bank account and I started saving money, and I wouldn't touch it. I changed a lot of things, eating out, everything like that. So a lot of times we got to practice that. Another thing, if those that got young kids and our kids be asking for designer shoes, designer this, it's nothing wrong, because they're in a different era than we was in. We wore British nice Bobos, we wore this, we wore that. People didn't look at your shoes and your clothes then. Sit down with your kid, cash your check, put it out there, and let your kids sit around while you pay bills. And then let them see, after mama or daddy pay bills, this is what we got left. They will understand it more if you make it tangible. Instead of them understanding, you gotta like let them see that this is what mom and dad did. Like me, I sat down and showed my kid, well, how the heck I'm gonna buy you that when ain't too much left? So then That'll make them either go get jobs. They start getting summer jobs. And when they go get summer jobs, ask them if they gonna spend their money like that. They not. They not. You tell them to the grocery store, they drink up all the milk, drink up all the orange juice. When they start going to the grocery store, they gonna budget a little bit more. Sometimes we have to take our kids to the store and say, I need a coupon for that. I need whatever you got to do to get your financial status up, you do that. So the first thing I tell them, train your kids, train your kids on finances. My kids are grown. I talk so much to my damn kids, they got tired of me, and they still struggling. So it's no set time to get there. My oldest is 35, I got a 31, I got a 29, and they budget pretty good, but at times, some of the stuff they do, they don't. And I have to tell them, don't look at mama money, look at your own money. And I had to teach my kids that, because kids, they wanna live off our money and look at what we got. Build your own thing. So I teach them, open up a savings account. Oh, my mama say, don't touch that savings account. So I wanted to speak on that, and I want to also speak on credit. As you see this here, all of this credit, this is what I learned. All of this credit, I got like 20 major credit cards. I do. Out of all these 20 major credit cards, 15 of these are paid off. I don't pay them off before I bought my house. I paid them off because I social. You gotta guess. You gotta guess. Okay, you want to join them in? Our credit cards is money, and when we graduated from college, or we went to college, a lot of us got debt from student loans. We're gonna bring them in. A lot of us got debt from student loans. I know a lot of y'all do. I do too. I went to 2 colleges. I got my degrees, but I got debt because I didn't have the money that I have right now. I got debt, and what happened was I wasn't taught about student loans, to get a loan, work, and do all that. I didn't have that. So what happened was we got student loans. We got to teach our children about the student loans thing. So, okay, who we got? Oh, I'm just, hey, that's my man now. Let me tell you something about this man. I'm intervening a little bit. I called him last week. I saw him in Concord, him and his wife. Those people there, when I tell y'all about pastors that I respect, this man here that's on my live, I respect him so much. And not because he support me, he's like a father figure, and he teaches me a lot about things. And it's so happening that he's on my live because that's what I was calling you about last week. I sold some property, bought some property, and I wanted to do some investments with the money. And if anybody know about Bishop Hope, he has a very great financial background. He could tell you in avenues, and if he don't know, he gonna sing you. He was one man also that was a big thing at Barnett Bank back in the days. I know all about his life story. He was a big thing. And as you see his life in his church, when COVID happened, and I have to add this, a lot of people that had businesses all around. When COVID happened, a lot of people were struggling till the PPP came in. Now, just imagine if the PPP or whatever y'all call them loans didn't come through. A lot of people, businesses did close, but it would have been more. And I learned from this man, if your finances is together and something hit you, you got reserve over here. I learned that up under him. Okay, and so I learned that from under him. So he just taught me so much. So Bishop, I'm so glad to have you. That's what I was calling you about last week before my live. I want to touch base with him because he's not only a pastor, but he's financially smart. And he's basically have it in his church. He talked to people about it, and he real people in the right direction with it. So Bishop, tell me what you got to say. We got you on live with us.
Well, wow, this is awesome, and I am just elated to be a part of this conversation. When I chimed in today and saw you prepping for this meeting, and to hear you talking about personal finance, how we can better position ourselves to achieve our goals and objectives, it is so awesome.
Yeah.
And this is my passion. Is you can do it, like you say. Don't tell me you can't do it. You can do it
Yeah.
if you make choices and understand the system. Share one caveat because it's about the line about already. Here's a key ratio that will help you to money manage your personal finances. Here it is. Make sure that your total debt to income never exceed 40%. That simply means that 40 cents out of every dollar you make should go toward paying your what we call your permanent debt. That's your mortgage or your rent or your car note or your revolving credit. When exceed whenever your outgo for those items, your mortgage or your rent or your permanent debt, car payment or revolving credit, store credit or credit cards, if that debt exceeds 40 cents out of every dollar, you're in trouble.
Okay.
You're going to rob Peter to pay Paul. Matter of fact, that's what banks look for. When I was in banking, that's what a lender looks for. If they're going to lend you money, they want to make sure you have the capacity to handle it. And the capacity ratio they look for is how much of your money that you make, salary, seat coming in, is obligated toward paying those fixed expenses. So here it is. We know that every dime out of every dollar should be sown to the kingdom, so we can live off the 90.
Right.
40%, 40 cents out of every dollar should go toward your living expenses. If that is the case, then 40%, that's 40 cents, a dime for your tithing and your offerings, that's 50%. You should be able to live off of 50 cents, pay yourself out of that 50 cents.
But don't you think that a lot of people, I want to ask you this because this is very powerful. And a lot of people don't ask these questions because people be scared. Because I failed in business when I opened up my third location. I lost $50,000 and I ain't scared to shake it off my back. It didn't close me, but that hurt me. I went into the bank. This was maybe about 3 years ago. I went into the bank and I asked the bank for $3 million. Credit over 700. I had $500,000 in a savings account. The bank looked at me and they looked at a little puzzled. And I was like, I was in myself like, what the damn problem is? What's up with that? Like, and I was like, because I didn't know. That's why it's good to be taught. And I use this segment as I call Hard Knocks University. And I met a banker and he said this to me. He said, you got excellent credit, but all your credit cards are maxed to the limit.
Right.
You a risk to the bank. He said, I know you got the money, but you a risk to the bank. And the underwriter's looking, saying, damn, she got good credit. She got $500,000 in the bank, but this and that. He said this to me, and I live by this. That's why a lot of people need this. Because see, when you got this, you charge today, next month, you ain't gonna owe these people. This American Express. I think a lot of people need that because you ain't gotta worry about paying it over time. But nevertheless, I made a goal to myself. I say in 6 months, the bank was gonna give me the money, but the interest rate was high. I didn't want a high interest rate. And that's what a lot of us don't know. That they be like, long as I get it. No, the interest rate, because you could be paying for something twice and don't even know it. In 6 months, Bishop, I paid off every credit card. Was it hard? Yes, it was. Did I like the space I was in? No, I didn't. But I was determined to prove to myself that I learned something and I got to rub nose with the white folks and learn something. I went back to the bank. My Solomon Gold, the people gave me over $3 million. I paid over every credit card. My credit score went from like a 702 to like an 8 something. The credit score. And I be telling people that. So I want to know what would you I learned that. And if I got it, I do have credit cards, but I never let them go over 50%. What you say about that?
Perfect. Because once you max out a credit card, you have nowhere else to go. And then the bank say, well, if you max it, how can you pay it back? See, the banks are always looking at us as what is our capacity to repay the debt, to repay the lenders. If they lend you money, can you pay it back? So they look at three things: look at your credit, look at your capacity, and look at your character. Your capacity is your income coming in. What's your streams of income? You have one job, two jobs, you have business. What sources of streams of income that you have coming in to service your debt? They look at all of that. Number two, they look at your credit. They pull your credit report. Not only your credit score, they pull your credit record, and they analyze each and every credit. They look at your credit cards. What's the maximum? Are you there? Are you halfway there? And your character says, do you pay it on time? You know, is your rating an R1, R2, R3? Are they been charging stuff off on you? You know, for revolving. If it's an installment, what's your rating? I1, I2, I3, or an I9? Are they charging stuff off on you? Do you have any judgments? What's out there? So they look at those three things to determine if you are a good risk to lend to.
Okay.
When they look over it, you see, and they saw the type of credit you had and how you have handled that credit, then they knew that not only did you have the capacity to repay, but you was a good risk to the bank. So they could take a chance, or they was able to lend.
Okay.
Now, most people, you'd be surprised, most people don't have that type of credit background. So here we go. What do? We go out and we buy things we don't need.
Absolutely. I'm going to drink to that, Bishop. Go ahead.
That we don't even know. That doesn't make a difference. Listen, everybody, here we go. Everybody can't handle Cadillac. You might have to get a Honda.
Yeah. That's what I say.
But you can get from point A to point Z. You follow me? Everybody don't have to go and eat dinner at the biggest steakhouse.
Right.
With Chris. You may have to go to Chili's, you know, or Applebee's.
I still go there. Go ahead, Bishop. Go ahead.
And learn how to cook at home because that saves your money.
Priorities, Bishop, priorities.
But where you can save a dime, that dime turns into a quarter, that quarter turns into $1, and it escalates. And you'll be surprised if you just do the right thing. You said it. You got to prioritize. You got to become disciplined. And once you put something away for yourself, you do the right things with money, the right
Things will come to you. Let me ask you this as far as, I want to ask you this because I know you're a professional. I learned this too that I try to give the people. I went in the bank and I learned something, and I just learned this maybe about a year and 2 years ago. The bank does not, people that have money don't use their tangible money. Their credit is their money. In other words, let me tell you what I'm saying. I went to the bank and I was trying to do something, expand the businesses. And I was finna pull out my savings to do this. And the lady at the bank told me, she was at Space Coast. She said, come here, baby. Don't use your money. Keep your money there. You use the bank money. That's the way rich people use it. Rich people do not use tangible money such as this. They keep their credit good and they go in the bank with good credit and they let their credit make more money, and more money. And I've been successful with that. Bishop, a lot of times people look, I just made good financial choices. Like I tell people all the time, it's not easy. Saving money and you ain't never did it before, it puts you uncomfortable. But uncomfortability, you should never be comfortable when you're doing the right thing in the beginning. It's going to rub, like you just say, you can't go to the steakhouse. I still go to Applebee's. I still go to Chili's. I still ride up in there. Everybody want it fast. They want it fast. And they tell themselves, well, I can't do it. I goes in the store and I have people laugh. And I go in the mall and I see people in Louis, Gucci, Chanel. And they'll go during Christmas time. I saw somebody in the store, and when they was leaving out, they leaving out with a $3,000 bag, and they say, I'm finna catch an Uber. I was like, oh my Jesus. You know, I keep my opinions to myself, but it was like, it's like we do things and we buy things because we want people to see. Then late at night when we laying home and our bills ain't paid, we about to lose our mind because what we're doing is trying to make people like us on the outer appearance. Bishop, I'm sorry. Then just saying to yourself, you just don't care. You can't live. You have to put your priorities in order to survive. It's like that's just the way they doing now. I gotta, if they see me ride like this, they gonna think I got it. What do you care? You gotta put your priorities in order. My mama used an old saying, people got champagne taste but got beer money. They don't want to drink a beer, they want champagne, something they know they can't afford. But if they just put away later on, people look at me now and be like I always had it like this. That's why I did my podcast to let people know I robbed Peter to play Paul. I know what it's like to not have. When I open up my business, people say, oh, the bank ain't gonna give you no money. They're gonna ask you for a business plan. They, just like you said, they want to see how you going to repay them. The bank didn't give me no money. God gave me some angels in my life that they fed into my life, which means they blessed me and helped me put up the fruit on. I'm just putting it straight out. I had a beautiful mother that gave me her back, her shoulders, but the bank didn't give me no money. It's when I started making money is when the bank did this. They wanted to see. So I tell people about credit. A lot of times people mishandle the credit, and I keep telling them, like, I listen to people say, go get business credit. How are you going to go get business credit when you can't even pay back your personal credit?
It's right.
I don't understand that. People, it's like on Facebook, people be saying, oh, I'm getting my credit straight. That's all good. All of us, I did statistics from 1 to 100. It's like 80% of African American people don't experience bad credit. But when you fix the credit, you don't go back and put yourself back into it. You learn from a re-established credit. Credit runs the world. I don't care who you are. The richest of people, they got all their money sitting in a bank cross seas and they using their credit to keep moving and moving. But we as African Americans, we don't do that. We live to impress people. We live not to put away. Our priorities are just backwards. It's like, I don't understand it. So I try to tell, one lady put, my son has no credit. How can he build his credit? He could get a prepaid card. And I'm going to tell you how you could get a prepaid card for the person that asked that question. That's what I did. When I opened up 27th Avenue, I had a banker to tell me, the name of the bank ain't even there no more. It was Bunko's. It was on 135th Street. I was rebuilding my credit, Bishop. I went and gave them people $300 for a prepaid card that report on my credit report every month. I did that. I did whatever I had to do to build up my credit worthiness. Let me tell you something. Like Bishop said, you see what the bank looking for. You're nothing to a bank with a bad credit score. I don't care who you are. You can make millions. Don't let nobody tell you, oh, I got money, credit don't matter. That's not true. Credit matter. I make plenty of money, and them people still be asking me when I walk in the bank. They don't ask me that no more. What's your social security number? Do you know your social security number follow you from birth to death? Oh, okay. So Bishop, give me a little bit of feedback on that. What would you tell people? I know about the young people because I got Miss Foster. She on my production team. She teach finances at a high school. And that's a good thing. I think everybody should know that. But I think it got to kind of start at home, because if you see your parents ain't handling stuff right, it going to trickle down to you. Because I noticed some of the stuff I did, I watched my kids kind of see what I was doing, and they kind of did it. So what would you tell people that's starting off and they want to save and build credit? What would the direction you would tell them to go in? I know you're going to tell people to pray about everything, because I do that. But, I kind of got it, but it's so hard, feel to me, to let people know they can do it. They can do it. But what was your words would be to people about,
Let me real quick, right back.
He's going in and out. He's going to change because he's going in and out.
Yeah, he's going in and out. But we're going to keep going. But basically, I had some people to talk about business credit, and business credit is very important for those people that's getting credit. But I also wanted to let him elaborate on it, because to me, you go out and straighten your credit. Then you go out and get business credit. That's good. But you shouldn't be going to get personal credit or business credit if you don't have the means to pay it back. If you go and you just say you go to Discover and they give you $20,000 worth of, say $30,000 worth of business credit. I'm gonna just throw that in there. Discover give you $30,000 worth of business credit. You take the $20,000 off the card or however they send you the $20,000. And when they give you the $20,000, you say, I'm gonna use this for a business adventure. Bishop, I'm talking about the line of credit for business, because a lot of times now they promoting business credit. They promoting this on Facebook and Instagram and all that. And business credit is good, but this the question that I pose to you. With business credit, say they go to Discover, they get $20,000 worth of credit.
He got to answer this last question.
You take the $20,000 off the card. That's all you got is the $20,000. You ain't got nothing in reserve. You ain't got nothing over here. So you go take the $20,000 to open up a business. Mind you got to pay that back. You got to pay the people that's working for you. You got to pay for material. You got to pay for supplies. How would that be a smart thing to do when you not even making the money to pay that back, but you went out there and went and got it? So I want you just to kind of like talk from a business standpoint on what should people do as far as saving money, getting their credit right, and things to go forward with.
But number one, never borrow anything that you can't pay back.
Oh,
If you don't have a plan to
that's the choir there. That's the choir there.
don't borrow it. Because number one, you're headed for danger, you're headed for disaster. You gotta have a plan. And your plan ought to be so concrete that you know that you're gonna be able to service what we call service the debt. So servicing the debt means you're gonna serve normal operating activity, or you're gonna be flipping something that's yield the type of money to repay that debt. But if you cannot repay a debt, don't even borrow the money.
Right.
You're setting yourself up for disaster.
Right. If you can't pay it back, don't get it. Basically, that's what you're saying.
Exactly.
Okay. What you say about the saving part? Because my thing about it is, and I'm just a little bit direct with it, Bishop. I think everybody can save money. I think people just tell themselves they can't, and they talk themselves out of doing better for themselves. Like, to me, it ain't nothing you can't do. Like you said, instead of going to the big steakhouse, Chris Paul's Steakhouse, you go to Applebee's and get a steak. I think everybody could put away, even if it's a little bit, like grandmama them used to do. You could put a little bit and put away, but everybody want it so instant. So how do you feel about that with the saving part? Because I'm big on saving money.
You said it earlier, it was right on target. You gotta pay yourself. You cannot spend everything on things. You gotta pay your bills, you gotta live. But bottom line is you gotta put something away for a rainy day. Remember that rainy day funds? So what if you start out by saving $10, $20, $25, you put it away in an account and don't touch it.
Yep.
As a rule of thumb, we always say you need to have at least 3 times your salary, your income, in a savings account. Just in case something goes wrong, goes bad, you move from one job to the next, you know that you have an income in place to service you for the next at least 3 months.
Yeah.
So don't touch that. But if you follow my rule, do not exceed 40% of your income to be paid for living expenses in terms of your rent, your mortgage, or your debt, your car payment, your installment loan. Now, the other monies you can manage, but that is fixed. So if you're living in a place, if you're paying for something that's about 60%, 80%, you're stuck.
Yeah.
That's a cloak around your neck. You're going to rob people to pay for it. But if you can learn how to discipline yourself, you see, you were right on target. Be disciplined, be intensive,
Do you think a lot of people fail because they fail to plan or they just fail? I think, as far as the credit failure, I think a lot of that came from when people come out of high school or come out of high school, the banks automatically get them credit and they just gravitate. I think that's why a lot of people fail in credit, but it's so much resources now to fix credit so people don't have no excuse. But do you feel like it's just something that people as a whole was never taught? That's why they not really kind of like saving money. What you think about that?
So the discussions around our dinner table and around our home was never centered around money management. I mean, you think about it. Our parents, as people coming up, didn't teach us about investments, didn't teach us about,
Nothing.
didn't teach us about finance. It was all about just the Bible, which you said before. Robbing Peter just to make it to another day. But when we learn better, we do better.
And Bishop, that ain't always safe. Let me just touch on something, and I know I could talk to you about this. I have a problem with people that go to church and they pastor talk prosperity, and the pastor tell them talk about prosperity and what they should do, but they not putting nothing in focus to tell their congregation. I'm a faith walker, Bishop. You know me. And I got that crazy stupid faith. But I just feel like when people go to church, whoo, Lord, the Lord gonna do it for me. And they talk it, but they don't live it. And I have a problem with people that talk faith and don't live it. And I say it so heartfelt because faith is what you don't see, but you got to believe God for it. As long as they in the church, they believe it, but then when they get out of church, they don't believe it. So it's the same thing with finances. Ain't nobody talk about prosperity among the congregation. Ain't nobody trying to bring finance class that people could come in there and talk to these people and help these people get out of debt and learn. Because with this recession, it's not getting any better. It's getting worse. It's like in the funeral business. If you don't plan, I tell people all the time, if you don't plan to fail, 9 out of 10, you're going to fail. And you can put away a little bit. But sometimes our pastors are in such great command, they could kind of like talk to their congregation and teach them on some of these avenues, and they won't go through Hard Knocks University like me. I'm just blessed. I got you. And I got a lot of good people that was in my ear, but a lot of the things are not taught. And I remember a Bible story where God told them that put away because it's going to be a famine in the land. He said, put away. And of course, everybody didn't listen, but a lot of people listened. So when the famine came, a lot of the people that didn't prepare were struggling off the people that did prepare. And it's like the same scenario. People fail to plan. I say unprepared people go to unprepared places. They fail to plan. And a lot of people are not teaching them. Like, I'm like, we got so many organizations, so many churches, we can teach them. And if COVID didn't teach nobody, people was hanging on a thread because they failed to plan. They either had to lay people off, they had to do this because they take the money that they earn and they live a lavish lifestyle instead of putting away and teaching people financial literacy. A lot of times, I know when I failed, I was ignorant to finance. I was making a whole lot of money, but I got it. But I had to fall to learn. I learned from Hard Knocks University, but some people didn't have that experience. So, and I had people like you in my life, like you, this, whatever. But what can the churches do to gear people on the right path? Because, I look up to you, and a lot of these people look up to ministers, and they need to be guided to have financial literacy taught. That way it could help people basically stop leaning on the church. Or every time they need something, they run into the church. If they taught financial literacy, they can learn to put away. Because like I say, pay God, pay your bills, and pay yourself. You can't go and stay within your means and keep your mind focused. I can do it. I don't let people sit around me, Bishop, that say they can't do it. Because that's negative energy.
Well, here it is. Here it is, Lori. Think about this in these terms. The church has about a 2-hour window on a Sunday to impact, to motivate, and educate partners. 2 hours on a Sunday. But Monday through Saturday, that same person is out in the marketplace. If there is no reinforcement at home, if there is no reinforcement in school, if they're not
Right.
preparing themselves,
Right. I got you. I got you.
to change a person's mindset and behavior, 2 hours out of the whole week. Number two,
That ain't gonna happen. I got you.
we are fortunate at the New Hope Church through our Development Center. We have a financial literacy class program that can teach, that we do teach from the ages of 5 to 18 to help people to understand the basics of finances, how to budget, how to manage money, how to distinguish between credit cards and banks, and the proper way to save. But who take advantage?
Yeah.
Who will have been themselves?
But that's why they at. But you know what? You want out of a whole lot of people. I guess that's why I respect you so much. Because and I don't want to be arrogant when I say this. You can't talk to me about money if you in debt.
Yes.
You can't talk to me about being somewhere that you're not qualified for. In other words, I tell people about my pocket, I could talk to you. I've been there. I've done it. But it, like you said, I consider church like a hospital. I don't feel good today. I'm going to the urgent care. I'm going to get a prescription. But the prescription is the word. You got to take that every day. You got to take the pill every day. Like I got high blood pressure. I got to take my pill every day. If I don't, I'm not going to feel so good. So you giving that to people, but you have lived a life before your I know before me. I ain't talking about the people because I know you. I ain't just flogging. I know you. You handle your business. Okay? You didn't have to rush your doors open when COVID happened because I already knew when I saw a lot of churches wasn't doing it. I said, you know what? Bishop ain't got to worry about that because he said it's up right. But what that taught me, I wanted to cling to you because I was in the business when the COVID happened. My numbers just went up. But just think about the people that it didn't. So you right, and I didn't look at it like that. You offer that, but how many people take advantage of that? That's just like with me. When people come sit down to me, and some guy said to me at Calvin that day, Ms. Lori, you need to talk about these people getting pre-need for funeral. Hell, how many times I talk about that? The graveyards are going up. Go do a pre-need. Go do this. Go do that. And you know what they do? They don't do it. They just hear you talking. They talkers, but they not doers. And I have a problem with people that talk it, but don't walk it. That becomes like I'm pulling your tongue out your mouth to do something for you. You need 3 types of insurance. Health insurance, life insurance, and your home and your car. You need insurance. You're going to need them. You're going to get sick. Your house, you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what's going to happen with your car. And you just need these things. But we take care of the want and we don't take care of the need. And I have a problem with it because we as African Americans, when we go to bury, we got to go to the white people cemetery. Because we ain't going to get together and go open up our own because we steady like this. Instead of us taking care of our own, we can't do that. That's like me. How many black banks there is? Somebody said that to me. I go put my money in the white bank. Where's the black banks? But then people saying you don't want to support them, they not listening. Their mindset is so off to, it's like, Bishop, it's like, I hate to say it, I need a drink with some Tito's and pineapple juice when I get through because I'm stressing, and I'm stressing it because I care. I'm talking week after week because I'm asking God to use my life experience to see. You ain't heard it from a book. You ain't heard it from a fake person. You hearing it from the person that struggled. When I opened up Hadley Davis, I didn't have no money, Bishop. My credit wasn't even where it was, but I was determined to change my mind because I wanted my direction to be better. 14 years later, God gave me my dream house. You've been here. This didn't happen overnight, but you got to make a step. You can't expect it to be sitting in the left. One person put, and we're going to wrap it up soon because we almost at time. One lady put, my son has no credit. How can he build his credit? Bishop, I just said, You got to get a prepaid card. Bishop, what you think about that? You got to get a prepaid credit card.
A credit card where you're not gonna exceed it, and you know it's already paid for. But you have to establish credit and show that you can handle the credit you establish. Whether it's $300 or $500, you borrow it, you pay it back. You borrow it, you pay it back. You charge, you pay it back. The worst thing you can do is to get credit, talk on that credit, and don't pay it for 30, 60 days.
Right.
Now you're messed up for life.
What you think about this when people say no credit is good credit? I think it's hogwash. I had somebody say to me, oh, they ain't got no credit. That's not good because the bank ain't going to give you nothing.
No, they don't understand credit. They don't understand the system. Because in order for you to exceed, you don't have always the cash you need, the amount of cash you need to buy what you want. So in order to get what you want, you got to do what? Borrow your own credit. So you have to show them that you are able to handle, that you are a person of your word, character. If you borrow, you pay it back. If you took a chance on me, that's a good opportunity.
Right.
So they judge your character. They look at your capacity, and they look at your history. And when they look at all three of those things, then they make a decision. Are you a good risk for us?
Yes.
That's the attitude of banks and financiers across the land, whether they are regular finance in the bank or whether it's some loan sharks, all look the same way.
Yeah.
The only difference is the loan sharks charge you higher interest rates.
Right.
Finance company, higher interest rates. So why don't you go out and get a credit card that you got to pay back 20%? That's crazy. So you get something you can handle, you build upon that, and you stay within that 40% margin, and I guarantee you, life will be better for you.
Yeah, and somebody put the prepaid. Anybody that's under the sound of me and Bishop voice, whatever financial institute you bank with, do prepaid credit. I know Wells Fargo do it. I don't know about Truist. I did it 20 years ago, but the bank don't exist no more. All you got to do is check your local bank and ask them about a prepaid credit card. And like Bishop say, I was told from the bank you should never exceed 50% once you, even if it's prepaid, you can't go over 50%. And if you do, don't let the next pay cycle come when you over 50%. But I want to thank y'all so much. Oh, Bishop, I love you. I love you. I love you. I thank y'all so much for tuning in because, you know, I could talk about finances and I'm going to let y'all know I do a lot of financial things as far as saving and doing all that. I was supposed to have Miss Foster on live. I'm going to see if she got some closing words for us. She teaches at the school, but she also do personal counseling. Well, her stuff is mental health, you know. You know, money will make you go crazy too sometimes. But I make her laugh about that. So she teach it, and I'm going to let her do some closing remarks. But I want to thank all of y'all because I could talk about finances because success brings wealth, and wealth brings success. But in all of that, it takes sacrifice, priorities in order. It takes discipline. It takes discipline. And I'm going to tell y'all all, one thing I'll say it again and again and again. Don't tell me you can't do it. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. I love you all. I thank y'all every week after week after week for tuning in. And thank y'all so much. You know what I want to do? I want to see y'all progress. Start changing your mind, change your direction. And one thing I want to say to all of you today, don't tell me you can't do it. This is my segment on finances. I love you all with the love of the Lord. And remember, there's nothing that you can't do. Tell yourself, I can do it. I can do it. Is it hard? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Am I tired? Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Can I do it? Yes, I can. Yes, I can. And start associating yourself around people that would encourage you to better you. Because when that money start flowing, it betters you. It make you feel good that you could go places and spend some money and don't feel bad about it. And remember, I love you. And don't tell me you can't do it.